Hello YouTube, I'm Toby, and today we have yet another T61. Now about half a year, 3/4 of a year back, I did another, it's the T61, useful in 2017, and I actually sold the old one, and today I have one that I got for free. Now the reason I got this for free is because I know someone who wasn't using it. It was pretty much just standing in a warehouse. So I figured we'd actually take this apart today, clean it out, and maybe just have some fun with it. Now if we start off by taking an in-depth look at the outside of this system, you can see right here we have a battery charging and sleep indicator up here, have an energy store right up here. Down here we have the Thinkpad T-Series logo. And it does look like we used to have something over here. There's a little dent in the, I don't know how well you can see that, but feels like there should be something here that's now missing. Generally the outside of the computer actually looks very clean. From what I know, this used to be, well, it was a refurbished model. I don't know when it was refurbished or what it looks like or how long it's been standing and not being used, but let's just take it apart anyway just to make sure that there's no big balls of dust in here. Taking a look at the front, we have a little connector down here. I'm not sure exactly what that one is. Over here we have our Wi-Fi on and off button, and right here we have a headphone jack and mic jack, and we have a little button right here to lift the lid up. There isn't really much to look at from the right side of the computer. We have a CD-ROM, DVD drive, and a single USB 2.0, well I believe it's 2.0 jack right there. Now right here on the back we have a Kensington lock, we have an extended battery. Our charging port is right here with the charging cable, oddly enough, it's already plugged in. And right here we have our cooling vents. And on the left side we have yet another cooling vent, a VGA output, I believe this 56K modem, an Ethernet jack, two USB, still believe these are 2.0, but we have two ports. And we have this little slot for what I believe is an expansion card. Now this is the bottom of the computer. The first thing I noticed over here is that we're actually missing a screw. It's always sad when you're missing something from a pretty much complete and well-functioning system, but there's not much to do about it. Other than that, on the bottom we can see our extended battery, and we can see the docking connector right here. Also we have two Windows authorization keys. This one over here is for Windows Vista, and it looks very worn. So that may be the old operating system, and I'm assuming this is the new one, Windows 7 Pro, and it says refurbished PC, so that's why I know this has been refurbished. This right here is the screen, and not much to it. It looks very, very clean, so it may not have been that long ago this thing was refurbished. Right here we have a keyboard light, and we have what appears to be some kind of Wi-Fi signal, probably because maybe the antennas go up to here, but I'm not entirely sure. And right down here we have a left speaker, we have our volume controls, I think Vantage button, power button is over here. We have a row of LEDs to indicate the system, well, what the system is doing. Over here it says Lenovo, as you can probably read on your own, and it says T61, and we have the right speaker right over there. Now the keyboard itself is actually also very clean, and the track point right there also seems very new actually. Got a small trackpad. Right here it says Lenovo Thinkpad T-Series again. And over here we have a Windows Vista sticker, probably running Windows 7 anyway. And the processor is Intel Centrino V Pro. I believe the T61 series uses the Core 2 Duo though. Alright, so let's try and turn the system on. Now you can probably see in the background my Lenovo Y580 is pretty much just standing ready for when I'm going to take this thing apart. I want some background noise for entertainment. And it does seem like it's booting up. The CD drive is, oh, Windows 7. Apparently this thing can, well, I was about to say boot into System Restore, but I'm pretty sure that just makes the computer ready for reinstall. But it seems to be booting up into Windows, so that's awesome. Alright, so now we're on the desktop, and it took about 2 minutes to boot up the system, well, into the desktop at least. Alright, so I realized the screen is very dim. I'm not sure you can read all this, but it does say Windows 7 Professional Service Pack 1. The processor is an Intel Core 2 Duo CPU T7300 model, clocked at 2.0 GHz. So not a very weak CPU, it should do fine. We have 2 GB of RAM, it's a 32-bit operating system. Our hard disk capacity seems to be 83.3 GB. Honestly expected more, but I'll settle for 80 GB. Alright, so now comes the fun part. I'm gonna strip this thing apart and give you a look at the insides of the system. Alright, so right here I have the hard disk. It says it's a 7200 RPM 100 GB hard disk. I now have the keyboard and the front bezel off right here. I have access to a 2 GB, or two 1 GB sticks of RAM, and the general system actually looks very clean. So my guess is that, well, either this thing is newly refurbished or it just really hasn't been used since it was refurbished. I took a look in the fan up here, and there's really no dust in there, and there's really no dust in the rest of the system. So I'm not going to take this any further apart. I just don't really see the point in fully disassembling this thing, since I already have a video on that, and I already know that this thing is clean and it functions. So there's no reason to go around poking sticks everywhere here and there. Alright, so I decided to do a little bit of research on the T7300 CPU. And from what I can see here, it's a 64-bit instruction set CPU, so I find it kind of weird that it's utilizing a 32-bit operating system. Maybe that's just what the refurbishers had at hand when they did it, but nonetheless, I do not agree with their choice of operating system. Now, to go into a little more depth with the Core 2 Duo or T7300 that's in this system, it's from the second quarter of 2007, and it's based on the 65 nanometer architecture. And from what I can see down here, it's got 4 megabytes of L2 cache and a TDP of 35 watts. So should be quite a power efficient CPU. Alright, so a few hours later I finally managed to get Windows 10 64-bit edition installed. Took longer than I anticipated, but it's finally done. Now, just for kicks, I decided to run Cinebench R15 just to see how powerful the T73 is. 87 Cinebench points is what this T7300 managed to get. It's actually a little bit lower. I was actually hoping it'd be in the hundreds, but yeah. Can't win every time. I figured I'd want to try and open a web page like CNN.com, see how quickly it loads it. I know it's connected to the 5 GHz internet connection, so it did actually quite well. Let's try going on YouTube. Also opened the YouTube page quite well. Let's try some video just to see what it can do. Alright, so we're watching a video. Let's try volume controls. Volume controls work. Let's try and see what resolution we're running at. 360. Let's try and bump it up to 480 just to see what it does. It seems to be able to play in 480 as well. Bump it up to 720. Still seems to be able to run quite smooth. Let's try full screening it. Alright, it's actually running quite well in 720p full screen. Let's try 1080 just to see if it will actually do it. Alright, it seems that Yeah, it hit its limit at 1080. Go back to 720. And it's doing pretty well. Alright YouTube, so that was my video on my free T61. I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do about this. Maybe I will sell it just like I did the old one. But old Lenovo ThinkPads, they're always fun to play with. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching.